Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Please kindly accept my humble obeisances. O good Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shall I start, Mataji? Hare Krishna. Can you hear me properly?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, verse 34. Anilopi vikurvano nabhasarubalanvitaha sasarjarupa tanmatram jyotirlokasya lochanam.
Hare Krishna. Thereafter, the extremely powerful air interacting with the sky generated the form of sense perception, and the perceptions of form transformed into electricity, the light to see the world.
Text 35. Anilenanvitam jyotir vikurvat paravikshitam adhat tambhura samayam kalamayam shayogataha.
When electricity was surcharged in the air and was glanced over the Supreme, at that time, by a mixture of eternal time and external energy, there occurred the creation of water and dust.
Text 36. Jyotishambhonusamsriptam vikurvad brahma vikshitam mahim gandha gunam adhat kalamayam shayogataha.
Thereafter, the water produced from electricity was glanced over by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and mixed with eternal time and external energy. Thus, it was transformed into the art, which is qualified primarily by smell.
Text 37. Bhutanam nabha adinam yajjad bhavyavaravaram tesham pranu samsrigat yatha sankhyaam gunan viduhu.
O gentlemen, of all the physical elements, beginning from the sky down to the earth, all the inferior and superior qualities and due only to the final touch of the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Text 38. Devaha kala vishnoho kala mayam salinginaha nanavatsva kriyaman manishaha prochur pranjalayor vibhum.
The controlling deities of all the above mentioned physical elements are empowered expansion of Lord Vishnu. They are embodied by eternal time under the external energy, and they are his parts and parcels. Because they were entrusted with different functions of universal duties and are unable to perform them, they offered fascinating prayers to the Lord as follows.
Text 39. Deva uchuhu namanate deva padaravindam prapannatapopasapamata patram yanmulaketa yatayo nijastro samsara dukham bahirut shipante.
The demigod says, O Lord, your lotus feet are like an umbrella for the surrendered souls, protecting them from all the miseries of material existence. All the sages assert that shelter through of all material miseries. We therefore offer our respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet.
Text 40. Dhatar yadasmin bhavayisha jiva tapatrayena bhihata nasa dharma atman labhante bhagavam tadangri chayam savidhyanatas asrayema.
O Father, O Lord, O personality of Godhead, the living entities in the material world can never have any happiness because they are overwhelmed by the three kind of miseries. Therefore they take shelter of the shade of your lotus feet, which are full of knowledge, and we also thus take shelter of them.
Text 41. Marganti yatte mukhapadmanidas chandah suparner rishayo vivikte yasyaghamarsada saridharayaha padam padam tirtha padaha prapannaha.
The lotus feet of the Lord are by themselves the shelter of all places of pilgrimage. The great clear-minded sages, carried by the wings of the Vedas, always search after the nest of your lotus-like face. Some of them surrender to your lotus feet at every step by taking shelter of the best of rivers, the Ganges, which can deliver one from all sinful reactions.
Text 42. यक्षद्धया सुतवत्या च भक्त्या संहृज्यमाने हृदये वधाय ज्ञानेन वैराग्यबलेन धीरा व्रजेन तत्सङ्ग्री सरोजपित्थम्.
Simply by hearing about your lotus feet with eagerness and devotion, and by meditating upon them within the heart, one at once becomes enlightened with knowledge, and on the strength of detachment, one becomes pacified. We must therefore take shelter of the sanctuary of your lotus feet.
Text 43. विश्वस्य जन्म स्थितिसंयमार्थे कृतावतारस्य पदाम्बुजं ते व्रजेम सर्वे शरणं यदीश स्मृतं प्रयच्छति अभयं स्वपुंसाम्.
O Lord, you assume incarnation for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. And therefore we all take shelter of your lotus feet, because they always award remembrance and courage to your devotees.
Text 44. यत्सानुबन्धे सति देहे गेहे ममाहमित्यतुदरूरग्रहाणां पुंसां सुधरां वसतोऽपि पुण्यां भजेम तत्ते भगवन् पदाब्जम्.
O Lord, persons who are entangled by undesirable eagerness for the temporary body and kinsman, and who are bound by thoughts of mind and I, are unable to see your lotus feet. Although your lotus feet are situated within their own bodies, but let us take shelter of your lotus feet.
Text 45. तान् वैह्यसद्वृत्तिभिरक्षिभिर्ये पराहितान्तरमनसा परेशा अथो न पश्यन्ति उरगाय नूनं यते पदं यस्य विलासलक्षाः.
O great Supreme Lord, offensive persons whose internal vision has been too affected by external materialistic activities cannot see your lotus feet, but they are seen by your pure devotees, whose one and only aim is to transcendently enjoy your activities.
Text 46. पानेन ते देव कथा सुधाय या प्रवृद्धभक्त्या विशदासयाये वैराग्यसारं प्रतिलभ्य बोधं यथाञ्जसान् वीर्युरकुण्ठदिस्यम्.
O Lord, person who because of their serious attitude attain the stage of enlightened devotional service achieve the complete meaning of renunciation and knowledge and attain the Vaikuntha Loka in the spiritual sky. simply by the drinking the nectar of your topics.
Text 47. Yatha pare chatma yoga balena jitva prakritim balishtham tvameva dhiraha purusham visanti tesam samachyam natu sevayase.
Others who are pacified by means of transcendental self-realization and have conquered over the modes of nature by dint of strong power and knowledge, also enter into you. But for them there is much pain, whereas the devotee simply discharges devotional service and thus feels no such pain.
Text 48. Tatte vayam loka shishrik sayadya त्वयानुरिष्टास्त्रिभिरात्मा भीष्म सर्वे वियुक्तः स्वविराहतन्त्रं न शक्नुमस्तत्प्रतिहर्तवेते.
O original person, we are therefore but yours only. Although we are your creatures, we are born one after another under the influence of the three modes of nature, and for this reason we are separated in action. Therefore, after the creation, we could not act consistently for your transcendental pleasure.
Text 49. यावद्बलिं ते जहरामकाले यथा वयं चन्नमदामयत्रे यथोभयसां तैमे हि लोक बलिं हरन्तो न अदन्त्यनुहा.
O unborn one, please enlighten us regarding the ways and means by which we can offer you all enjoyable grains and commodities so that both we and all other living entities in this world can maintain ourselves without disturbance and can easily accumulate the necessities of life both for you and for ourselves.
Text 50. त्वमेह सुराणामसि सन्वयानां कुतस्थ आदयः पुरुषः पुराणः त्वं देव शक्त्यां गुणकर्मयो नो प्रेतास्त्वयज्ञां कविमादधेयः.
You are the original personal founder of all the demigods and the orders of different gradations. Yet you are the oldest and are uncharged. O Lord, you have no source of or superior. You have impregnated the external energy with the semen of the total living entities, yet you are unborn.
Text 51. ततो वयं प्रमुखा यदर्थे बभूविमात्मन् करवाम किं ते त्वं नाह स्वचक्षुः परिधेहि शक्त्या देवा क्रियार्थे यदनुग्रहाणाम्.
O Supreme Self, please give us who are created in the beginning from the Mahat Tattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind directions on how we shall act. Kindly award us your perfect knowledge and potency so that we can render your service in the different department of subsequent creation.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Tat Sat. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for very nice recitation. Thank you, Indulika Mataji and Nusha Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Indulekha Mataji and Usha Mataji, for the beautiful recitations today. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you again for today's facilitation. I'm sorry you have to see her again. You'll have to see me again today because yesterday was just by accident. Today we will be doing from 46, 47, and 48, the 3 verses from Bhagavatam. So we will start off with the prayers. First of all, I would like to pay my humble obeisances to all the devotees present over here and to my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासा आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। जय श्री कृष्ण। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we'll start off with 40. Is it 45, Mataji, or 46? 46, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, it's 46 to 48 today.
46. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. I was just thinking, I thought I'd just check once.
Yeah.
So can I have just a volunteer, please, if that's okay? Anybody there?
Hare
It's
Krishna,
okay.
Mataji.
Mataji?
Yes. What you said, you want me to recite the verse, Mataji?
Mataji, can you read the verse and the purport for me, please? Translation and purport.
Yes, Mataji. Okay. It's 38, Mataji, right?
46, Mataji.
No, 46. Okay. तेरेव तथा सुधायः प्रवृत्तप्रत्याय सदा सयाये वैराग्यसारं प्रतिलाभ्य भूतम् यथा जनासान्वियुरकुण्ठतीक्ष्णम्. Translation. O Lord, person who because of their serious attitude attained the stage of enlightened devotional service, achieved the complete meaning of renunciation and knowledge, and attained the Vaikuntha in the spiritual sky simply by drinking the nectar of your topics. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The difference between the impersonalistic mental speculators and the pure devotees of the Lord is that the former pass through a miserable understanding of the absolute truth at every stage, whereas the devotees enter into the kingdom of all pleasure even from the beginning of their attempt. The devotees have only to hear about devotional activities which are as simple as anything in ordinary life, and he also acts very simply, whereas the mental speculator has to pass through a jugglery of words, which are particularly partially facts and partially make so of the maintenance of an artificial impersonal status. In spite of in spite of his strenuous effort to attain perfect knowledge, the impersonalist attain merging into the impersonal oneness of the Brahma Jyoti of the Lord, which is also attained by the enemies of the Lord simply because of their being killed by him. The devotees, however, attain to the highest stage of knowledge and renunciation and achieve the Vaikuntha, the planets in the spiritual sky. The impersonalist attains only the sky and does not achieve any tangible transcendental bliss, whereas the devotee attains to the planets where real spiritual life prevails. With a serious attitude, the devotee throws away all achievements like so much dust, and he accepts only devotional service, the, the transcendental culmination.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. From yesterday, we just progressed now. So obviously, Maitreya Muni is trying to explain how the attitudes of basically how a serious devotee is and how a speculator is over here. So what in the purport Sri Prabhupada is trying to say is that it is so easy. It's just like difference between truth and lies, basically, in a way, if you look at it. So a person who is telling the truth, he doesn't have to make any effort because he'll tell the same thing again and again. But imagine, I give an example like in a court, like if a person is telling the truth, he will say the same thing again and again. It's such easy and effortless for him. He doesn't have to strain his mind and stress out, to tell the facts. Whereas a person who's making up, they will have to, every time they have to really work very hard to maintain that same sentence all the time because memory is so short, they keep forgetting and they keep on, so they have to really work very hard. So in that similar way over here, how a impersonalist, how a mental speculator is, the difference between that and a pure devotee is that pure devotee is very simple, easy for them. They have to just only pray to the Lord, and then everything is just it flows like honey, Whereas for a speculator, it becomes very difficult for them to maintain that position. So for devotee, they have to only hear about Krishna Katha, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. And whereas a speculator, he has to, because every time he keeps on changing most of the time. So he has to keep the same position by different types of words, and that is only to again satisfy his own ego and his own status. So in spite of all, suppose if he's attained his to the level of where, okay, he's done with this, so much of like you have all the gnanis and yogis and all, they try to with so much of hard work, they achieve a goal. They can only go to the Brahma Jyoti. The Brahma Jyoti is where just the effulgence of the Lord. And whereas a devotee, however, can pass through the Brahma Jyoti and go through the Vaikuntha planets and to the Krishna Loka. That's if Krishna wants it, obviously. So Brahma Jyoti is something which people, Brahma Jyoti is only the rays of the effulgence of the Lord, basically. It's just like example, if you take the sun is the main planet, and from the sun emanates the light or the rays. So the rays which emanates from the sun is actually the Brahma Jyoti. So from Krishna Loka, whatever the rays emanated from the Lord itself is the effulgence. In that effulgence, you'll have again, you have all these planets situated in that effulgence. So for the people who are the impersonalists, they think that by merging into this Brahma Jyoti is like being liberated, but that is not the actual liberation over here. So over here, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada tries to say that the impersonalist attains only the sky and does not achieve any bliss, whereas the devotee attains to the planets where real spiritual life prevails. So the planets are Vaikuntha Lokas, and then we have the Krishna Lokas, where actually the spiritual life lives there, thrives there. So for a devotee, he is not attached to any of his achievements, like materialistic achievements. Whereas for a non-devotee, they will be more attached to the materialistic achievements, and so it's difficult for them to detach. Whereas a devotee, they just like how a dust from your dress, you can just throw it off like that. For a devotee, all these materialistic things, whatever they have accumulated over years, they just give away with no. I mean, just like that, in a second they give away. They have to just make up their mind and they find them. You see some people, they just give away the jobs, they just give away the houses, they just give away everything, because they've realized that this is all tuchha, nothing in this materialistic thing. It is which is binding me. So in a similar way, the devotees over here, it's just like how they can throw up the dust from their body. So what is Brahma Jyoti is something I was just trying to see. It is explained in so many places what Brahma Jyoti can be. I'm just trying to go through some of the places where it is explained. So the Brahman effulgence, basically from the effulgence from the God is impersonal. And the energy is the Supreme Personality of God. So the energy comes from the Supreme Personality. So from the Lord, the Jyoti comes out. So it is like how from the sun you have the sun rays, the same way from Lord Krishna, the effulgence comes out. And from him, and it is about the Vaikunthas, this Brahma Jyoti again emanates. So you can see it, from Krishna Loka, the Jyoti emanates, and then you have lots of Vaikuntha Lokas, and Vaikuntha Lokas are different Narayanas living over there. And so this is from this light again, this light reflects on the sun, the moon, and all that we get is that basically the reflection of this Brahma Jyoti, which comes onto this materialistic earth. as the sun's rays. So so these all pervading Brahman, it is composed of the impersonal glowings of Sri Krishna, which exists in the spiritual world within the Vaikuntha planets. We can get some idea of the spiritual sky by comparison to the material sky. For the rays of the sun in the material sky can be compared to the Brahmajyoti, the glowing rays of the personality of Godhead. So in the Brahmajyoti, there are unlimited Vaikuntha planets, which are spiritual and therefore self-luminous, and with a glow many times greater than that of the sun. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, his innumerable plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions dominate each Vaikuntha planet. So in the highest region of the spiritual sky is the planet called Krishna Loka, which has 3 divisions, namely Dwaraka, Mathura, and Golaka, Gokula. So this is taken from Chaitanya Charitamrita, first 1:5:14. There's first Leela, Adi Leela, the 5th chapter and 14th verse. So we have from this you can say how it's also explained in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita how there are 2 kinds of liberated souls: those who are liberated by the favor of the Lord, and those who are liberated by their own effort. Okay, so the one who gets liberation by his own effort is called an impersonalist, and he merges into the glaring effulgence of the Lord, the Brahmajyoti. So these impersonalists, they think that when they die, they merge into the Brahmajyoti. But whereas the devotees of the Lord, who qualify themselves for liberation by devotional service, they are offered 4 kinds of liberation. And what are they? They are called Salokya. Salokya means, so they achieve a status equal to that of the Lord. Then Samipya, where there is constant association with the Lord. Then Sharshti, where the opulence is equal to that of the Lord. And Sarupya is where the features are like those of the Lord. That's also said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, first Leela, Adi Leela, 5th chapter, 30th verse. So you see where outside this Vaikuntha, so Vaikunthas, there are lots of Vaikunthas in this spiritual sky, and outside the Vaikuntha, the abode of Krishna, which is called Paravyoma, is the glaring effulgence of Krishna's body rays. So this is again called Brahmajyoti. So there are lots of places where it's explained what Brahmajyoti is. So I'm just trying to tell you all. So this effulgence is called Siddhaloka or Brahmaloka. When impersonalists achieve liberation, they merge into this Brahmaloka effulgence, and this transcendental region is undoubtedly spiritual, but it contains no manifestations of spiritual activities or variegatedness. It is compared to the glow of the sun. So within the sun's glow is the sphere of the sun, where one can experience all sorts of varieties. So you can see where is the Brahmajyoti and where the Vaikuntha Lokas and Krishna Lokas. They're much, much more. So in the rays of the effulgence of the Lord, there's so many lokas over there, Vaikuntha Lokas. And this rays is where it's just only rays. There's nothing materialistic over there. So this is where the impersonalists think that their soul will go and merge. Well, that is, that is not what the real devotees would achieve for. So, and also in the Brahma Samhita, where Lord Brahma tries to explain about the Brahma Jyoti. Let me see. In verse 5.29, they'll try to say how you have how Krishna Loka is and how the Lord is, He says, Chintamani prakara sadma shukalpa vriksha laksha vriteshu surabhira vipalayantam Lakshmi sahasrashata sambrama sevamanam Govindamadi-purusham tamaham bhajami. So in that, how we will say, like, how Lord Krishna is basically, he's tending to the cows, and he's obviously surrounded by millions of trees and lots and thousands of Lakshmis and Gopis. That's how the world looks over there in Brahma, in the Krishna Loka. And also, if I can go to the 1 5 point. I mean, the whole Brahma Samhita is beautiful, but then over here explains properly about Brahma Jyoti is Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagad Andakoti Koti Shvashesha Vashudhadi Vibhuti Bhinnam Tad Brahma Nishkalam Anantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So here Brahmaji is saying, like, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose effulgence is the source of the non-differentiated Brahman mentioned in the Upanishads. Being differentiated from the infinity of glories of the mundane universe appears as the indivisible, infinite, limitless truth. So he's trying to explain about the Brahma Jyoti over here in the Brahma Samhita. So should we go to the next verse, please, if that's okay?
May I read, Mataji?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji?
May I read?
Please, Mataji, please. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Text 47. Is it, yeah?
Yes, Mataji.
Tatha pare chatma samadhi yoga balenena jitva prakritim balishtham tameva dhira purusham vishanti tesham samasyanna tu sevayate. So I pick on your tune, right? Translation.
Yes.
Others who are pacified by means of transcendental self-realization and have conquered over the modes of nature by dint of strong power and knowledge also enter into you. But for them, there is much pain, whereas devotees simply discharge their devotional service and thus feels no such pain. So we go to the purport?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Purport. In terms of a labor of love and in return, the bhaktas or devotees of the Lord always have priority over persons who are addicted to the association of jnanis or impersonalists and yogis or mystics. The word apare, others, is very significant in this connection. Others refer to the jnanis and yogis whose only hope is to merge into the existence of the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, although the destination is not so important in comparison to the destination of the devotees. The labor of the non-devotees is far greater than that of the bhaktas. One may suggest that there is sufficient labor for the devotees also in the matter of discharging devotional service, but that labor is compensated by the enhancement of transcendental pleasure. The devotees derive more transcendental pleasure while engaged continuously in the service of the Lord than when they have no such engagement. In the family combination of a man and a woman, there is much labor and responsibility for both of them. Yet, when they are single, they feel more trouble for want of their united activities. The union of the impersonalists and the union of the devotees are not on a par. The impersonalists try to fully stop their individuality by attaining Sayujya Mukti, or unification by merging into oneness, whereas the devotees keep the individuality to exchange feelings in relationship with the Supreme Individual Lord. Such reciprocation of feelings take place in the transcendental Vaikuntha planet, and therefore the liberation sought by the impersonalist is already achieved in devotional service. The devotees attain mukti automatically, while continuing the transcendental pleasure of its maintaining individuality. As explained in the previous verse, the destination of the devotees in Vaikuntha is Vaikuntha, or Akunta Disnya. a place where anxieties are completely eradicated. One should not mistake the destination of the devotees and that of the impersonalists to be one and the same. The destinations are distinctly different, and the transcendental pleasure derived from the devotee is also distinct from chinmatra, or spiritual feelings alone. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful. So again, obviously the same thing it is reiterated again. So the bhaktas, it's so easy for the bhaktas to do their devotional service because they derive pleasure out of it, transcendental pleasure. And it just, as I said, it flows like honey, whatever they do. Whereas when you look at the yogis and the gnanis, they really work very hard to achieve the goal, as we say. So again, here, again, the destination is not the same as we think. Like, so the gnanis and yogis, they go to the Brahma Jyoti, whereas the bhaktas, they go a bit more beyond that, beyond the Brahma Jyoti. So over here you can see you might think that the labor for the devotees, the labor for the non-devotees is very, very high, as we say, and that of the labor for the devotees is less, but they also work hard, but at least it is compensated by the enjoyment they receive, the transcendental pleasure. They feel very happy in doing that, whereas a non-devotee will have to, whereas a yogi, I can't say a non-devotee in that case, but a yogi or a gnani, they will have to work hard. Let's give an example where this is something which we need to see, like when there is a man and a woman, there is much labor and responsibility for both of them when they're working together. But when because one has to work for the other person also, but when person is left alone, they don't feel happy because they feel happiness in the relationship itself. So they feel more trouble because earlier they'll be going on complaining, I have so much work to do and all that, you see. But when a person is not there, then they don't feel happy that they are doing it alone. So they do it in the relationship. They feel much more better with united activities. So the impersonalist and the devotees, we cannot take them on one level, as we know, because the impersonalist, again, the same thing is going on repeated in these 3 verses. So the impersonalist, when they merge into Brahma Jyoti, they think that's the end. Whereas the devotees, they like to keep their the same form in a way that they want to keep feel like devoting doing the devotion as they do it in this earth. They want to develop a relationship with the Lord, and they want to keep that relationship with the Lord. So therefore, their devotion is much, much more higher than the impersonalist who just merge into Brahma Jyoti. So though these devotees, they will achieve liberation automatically. And while maintaining their individuality, so their personality is left in their devotion. So that relationship with the Lord is maintained throughout. And therefore, the destination of these devotees is usually Vaikuntha or Akuntha Dishnya, where there are no anxieties at all. So Vaikuntha is Vaikuntha, there is no Kuntha, there is no anxiety. So over here, when we look at, just wanted to say a couple of things where regarding a devotee and what we should be doing. Is that, 1 second. Just wanted to give you a couple of, so what happens in Bhakti Yoga, the primary practice of Bhakti Yoga, what we do is, let me just go there. So normally this devotional service by the devotees is just like a seed, and when it is sown in the heart of a living entity. So if he goes on hearing and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, then what happens? This seed starts fructifying. just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. So the spiritual plant which we have of the devotional service, it gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahma Jyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. So we have to understand, see how this Bhakti Lata Bij, which you have, which they call Bhakti Lata Bij, or this creeper of devotional service. On doing regular devotional service, this will grow so long, that it can penetrate actually the material universe and it'll enter into the Brahma Jyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. Then what happens? In the spiritual sky, then the plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavana, which is the main supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, what happens? The spiritual creeper, the plant, it takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as the plant grows, fruits and flowers, then this plant of devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. So this plant of devotional service obviously is described in Chaitanya Chaitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 19. So it is explained that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, then one becomes fully absorbed in the love of God. Then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord. Similar like a fish who cannot live without water. So in such a state, then the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. Then we have another one more. Just wanted to say another one more similar type of a verse. So this was taken from Bhagavad Gita 10.9, the purport. This is explained in the purport there. And then we have another one more where I would like to say, so what happens in the primary practice of Bhakti Yoga? This again, the seed which is already sowed in the heart to sprout, a regularly watering process, as mentioned above, like chanting and doing all the Navada Bhakti. So this creeper will begin to grow, and then by nurturing, the creeper will grow to such an extent that it will penetrate the coverings of the universe, as we have heard in the previous verses. It will reach the effulgent sky, the Brahma Jyotir, and go further and further and reach the spiritual sky, where there are innumerable spiritual planets called Vaikuntha Lokas. Above all of them is Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavan, wherein the growing creeper enters and takes repose at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the original personality of Godhead. When one reaches the lotus feet of Lord Krishna at Goloka Vrindavan, then the watering process of hearing and reading, chanting of the holy name in the pure devotional stage, it fructifies, and the fruits grown there in the form of love of God are tangibly tasted by the devotee. And even though he is here in this material world, the ripe fruits of love of God are relished only by the devotees constantly engaged in the watering process as described above. So this is said in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.230. So you can understand, look at the importance of how doing Bhakti Yoga. It is so, so important. Another one more was... So a couple of examples of how the difference between what a devotee and a non-devotee, they have a very different way of achieving liberation. So again, what happens over there is, and it is by great fortune that one comes to Krishna consciousness on the path of Bhakti Yoga to become well situated according to the Vedic direction. So the ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Shyama Sundara, who is as beautifully colored as a cloud, whose lotus-like face is as effulgent as the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels, and his body is flower-garlanded, illuminating all sides in his gorgeous lustre, which is called the Brahma Jyotir. He incarnates in different forms such as Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he descends like a human being as the son of Mother Yashoda. And he is known as Krishna, Govinda, and Vasudeva. He is the perfect child, husband, friend, and master, and he is full with all opulences and transcendental qualities. If one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called the highest yogi. This is in Bhagavad Gita 4.47 purport. just a few excerpts I thought I should just take regarding the Brahma Jyoti. I thought this would just help. Let's go to the next verse, please. Is anybody there to read? I'll just read it.
I can read, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Please. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Tattevyam lokasitsrikshayad त्वायान्नो श्रेयस्तस्त्रीभिरात्मभिस्मा सर्वे वियुक्तः स्वविरह तन्त्रं नाशक्नुमस्तत् प्रतिहर्तवेते. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O original person, we are therefore but yours only. Although we are your creatures, we are born one after another under the influence of the three modes of nature, and for this reason we are separated in action. Therefore, after the creation, we could not act concentratedly for your transcendental purport. The cosmic creation is working under the influence of the three modes of external potency of the Lord. Different creatures are also under the same influence, and therefore they cannot act concentratedly in satisfying the Lord. Because of this diverse activity, there cannot be any harmony in the material world. The best policy, therefore, is to act for the sake of the Lord. That will bring about the desired harmony. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So again, of here, how Matrimony is trying to say that we have to understand that see, all of us can't work in one all together, because everybody has their own karma, own prarabdha, what they have in their own past. So everybody has different ways of coming to the same goal, but they have to go through different paths. So it is best to concentrate, in your own way, to to follow basically the Vedic scriptures and how it is explained, but in the way which suits you, in a way which, because your way of your way of how you see, the way how are you different to another person, own intelligence, and the way how it is brought about by our own past. So I feel over here, what I can understand over here is that because of the diverse activities in this material world, all of us can't work together in a way. So so the best way to act is to act for the sake of the Lord, just to achieve the Lord, which suits us, but under the guidance, obviously, of the Guru, and they will try to guide us. That is what I can understand of here in this verse. So although we are your creatures, we are born one after another under the influence of the three modes of nature. So all of us are not born at the same time. So everybody has their own. It depends upon how Krishna has tried to bring about the existence of these different beings into the world. And he hasn't brought everything all together in one level or one way. And so therefore, all of us can't work or act together for the Lord's pleasure. So this is what I can understand, but I think I'll come back with this verse a bit more next time when because I think there's a bit more depth into this rather than just a simple saying. But I thought I should bring about the Vaikuntha Loka, of what Vaikuntha Loka is, and just to understand that how to where the gods Goloka Vrindavan is, and also where I just wanted to say where how far this Brahmajyoti and Goloka Vrindavan is just by the numbers, where how Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura has estimated. He has done a calculation. I thought I could just bring that to your thing. But before that, I just wanted to say a little bit about Goloka Vrindavan. This is again from Bhagavatam. It was taken from third canto, chapter 220, where the Lord's personal abode is called Goloka Vrindavan, and the abodes where his plenary expansions reside are called Vaikunthas, where the Lord is present as Narayana. So the love of Godhead is dormant in every living entity, and the entire process of devotional service unto the Lord is meant for awakening the dormant eternal love of Godhead. But the degrees of such transcendental awakening, those whose love of God is awakened to the fullest extent, go back to Goloka Vrindavan, a planet in the spiritual sky. Whereas persons who have just awakened to love of Godhead by accident or association are transferred to the Vaikuntha planets. Essentially, there's no material difference between Goloka and Vaikuntha. But in the Vaikunthas, the Lord is served in unlimited opulence, whereas in Goloka, the Lord is served in natural affection. This is again taken from the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 3:2:20. And here, I just wanted to say also the all-pervading personality of Godhead. He resides as Paramatma in the heart of each and every living entity. And so you have the different forms of the Lord as Purushottama, Achyuta, Narsimha, Trivikrama. You have all those 24 forms of the Lord, and they all live in different Vaikuntha lokas in the Paravyoma. And the many hundreds and scores of different forms of the Lord, and each and every one of them has a particular planet in the spiritual sky, of which obviously this material sky is only a small fragment. And the Lord exists as Purusha, or the male enjoyer, although there is no comparing him to any male form of the material world. So now we have to understand is beyond the limitation, beyond the limitation of the material creation, there is this Paravyoma, or the spiritual sky, and we have Vaikuntha. So in this Vaikunthas, as we say, it was Purushottama Loka, Chitta Loka, Trivikrama Loka, Rishikesha Loka, Keshava Loka. All the forms of the Lord Lokas are there. And in that, obviously, there is no material contamination. Everything is spiritual over there. And nothing, I mean, always full of opulence and transcendental bliss. There is no birth, death, old age, or disease. And then obviously above them is one supreme loka called the Goloka. Again, I'm just trying to repeat over there. Is the main abode of Lord Sri Krishna with his specific associates. So the entire description of these planetary systems of the universe, how it is described with Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti is that so one who is able to meditate upon this arrangement as the Virata Rupa Vishwarupa, which is the external body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and worship him 3 times a day by meditation, will always be free from all sinful reaction. So he estimates, how the Dhruvaloka, so Dhruvaloka, which is the pole star, is 38,100,000 yojanas above the sun. So from the sun, above the sun is Dhruvaloka. Then above the Dhruvaloka by 10,000 yojanas is the Maharloka. And above the Maharloka by 20,000 yojanas is the Janaloka. And above the Janaloka by 80,000 yojanas is the Tapaloka. And above Tapaloka by 120,000 yojanas is the Satyaloka. So that's the distance from the sun to the Satyaloka is 233,800,000 yojanas, or 1,870,400,000 miles. So the Vaikuntha planet, they begin Now, where do the Vaikuntha planet begin now? 26,200,000 yojanas or 209,600,000 miles above Satyaloka. So thus the Vishnu Purana describes that the covering of the universe is 260,000,000 yojanas, from that is 208,000,000 miles away from the sun. So the distance from the sun to the earth is 100,000 yojanas, and below the earth by 70,000 yojanas are the 7 lower planetary system called Attala, Vittala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala. So below these lower planets by 30,000 yojanas is the Sheshanaga. It's lying in the Garbhodaka Vishnu, the Garbhodaka Vishnu ocean. And that ocean is again 249,800,000 yojanas deep. Thus, the total diameter of the universe is approximately 500,000 or 4 followed by 90 miles. So you can imagine how big this whole universe is, and where is Goloka and where are we and where is the Brahma Jyotir. So just wanted to tell a bit of the description of, it's a bit difficult, but just giving the numbers, it might be a bit boring. I wish it would be more nicer to show a picture. But today's the takeaway point over here is that obviously the devotees, how they pray to the Lord is quite different from how the impersonalists pray. So we have to retain the form of devotional service. So that is where you have to still keep the relationship, how you keep with Krishna. That is what is more cherished than anything else. So everybody has a different relationship with Krishna. One can serve Krishna as a Vatsalya Bhava, as a child, a parent, or as a sakha, or as a conjugal lover, or as a I think 5 forms, isn't it? As a what are the 5 forms of this thing we have?
Parents, friends,
Parents,
friends.
Sakha, Vatsalya, conjugal, Dasya,
and Aishwarya, no? What is it?
Conjugal lover. 5 forms, but everybody has their own relationship with the Lord. So whatever you maintain, and this is because that is your inner craving, so and that will continue when you will go to the higher planets. So, and you would like to serve the Lord at the lotus feet. So it depends. So I think, I'm so sorry, whatever I tried to explain, but I think I'll end it here now. And please forgive me for all my this thing. Please be more than happy to fill in. I know it is not really slightly a bit dry topic, but if please forgive me for any offenses I've created, and please fill in, Mataji. Give your comments, please. I was just thinking maybe you should just, we have time to just have to read the Brahma Samhita. It'll be quite nice if somebody can sing that Brahma Samhita.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you so much. You have taken the pain and the time, the energy to research, because this is a bit of a philosophical study that you have done about the numbers and all. So as for devotees, we are not interested in, I'm not telling you haven't done a good job, you have done a very good job. Thank you so much. But if we go simply, it's like Bhagavan is a sun planet and Paramatma is a sun disk, and Brahman is a sun rays. Now it depends on the devotees where they want to go. Also, we see so many rishis, they go just to the Brahman and there's nothing to do there, and they come back, like 9.25 or 26 verse explained in Bhagavad Gita. So now, in Vaikuntha Lokas, as you mentioned, there are lots of them. But why don't we go directly to the Goloka? We stay in the Vaikuntha. Not we, I mean great devotees, great Vaishnavas. They go in the Vaikuntha planet. They stay there for many, many years, many long times, just to get the training. And then they are moved to the Golok. Because if we take a simple job, we are getting training. Anything in life, we get training. how can we go directly to Golok without training? So we go in the Vaikuntha local, there get training, and then move on to the Golok Vrindavan. And once somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, what happens if one day when you are older and you realize that all this Krishna consciousness is not true? What will happen then? Srila Prabhupada replied that I will be very happy, because in this process, I have been meeting so many people. I have establishing so many temples. I've been reading, I've been eating, dancing, feasting, and whatnot. I'm happy. But what happens if you realize that this process is real, is true, and you haven't practiced it? What happened to you? You are losing now, you will lose again. I am gaining now. It doesn't matter if I lose at the end. That was Srila Prabhupada's answer. So we should also think like that, right? That it doesn't matter. We are practicing, we are happy. We are not committing any nonsense in this 1 hour, 1.5 hours we have been together. We are gaining, right? Our spiritual credit is increasing. Now, this 48 text, the translation, when it says that different creatures, we are not born together, we are born one after the other. And then for this reason, we are separated in action, and therefore we could not do the same devotion toward you. But we should remember another thing is that we are not born in the human form. All of us, we are born separately, in many species of life, 8.4 million. We have bird, beast, animals, and beasts and birds, and aquatics and reptiles and plants. And so they cannot do anything. They cannot do as human being are doing. So human being has got the higher consciousness. That's how we are separate. But we are all acting under the free modes of natural nature. We are doing because we are understanding. We are human beings, have got the knowledge, but the other species, they haven't got the knowledge. And now what to speak of other species, lower species, even human beings, how many of us are practicing this Krishna consciousness? So that is what, to my understanding, this is what it says in translation. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much, Mataji, for really bringing in so much of knowledge into the team. And I'm really sorry, I'm really very
no,
very
Mataji,
small devotee.
You have done so much. Yesterday, I didn't get a chance to thank you because just as I was going to speak to you, then somebody was at the door and I had to deal with them. And also, I'm sorry for yesterday also. So thank you so much. You are doing so much research. It's not easy. Not easy with your job that you have got, and you are here present whenever you are needed. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna. So if nobody has any other questions, then should we end the thing with the prayers?
Anchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindumayivata patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Grantaraj Bhagavati ki jai.
Ananta
Srila
Koti Vaishnava ki
Prabhupada jai. Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji, for
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.